Here's Rineman in the Morning, on demand from 102.1 and 105.3, The Shark. It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
I haven't made it to a Taylor Swift concert yet. Are all her songs still about me? Happy birthday to Patriots legend Rob Gronkowki, who turned 34 and was once again the biggest boy in the Chuck E. Cheese ball pit. In North Carolina, cows led police to a man who had fled a traffic stop. Or as they put it, arms behind your back and don't move. Happy Monday, everybody.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what's going on this Monday?
One of the many things that I'm excited for when it comes to summer is all the fairs that come to New Hampshire.
That's fair.
Okay.
There you go. Dad joke one. Mother's Day is over, and it is Father's Day time.
It's not Father's Day yet.
What?
You have to be patient.
Okay.
I know,
so tell me about
patience is a
this.
virtue.
Fair season.
But we have a list of all of the upcoming fairs that will be making their way to New Hampshire. On the Shark app, of course. Where else, Rineman?
Okay, well,
where else?
Okay, well, this is not something that you can say, go to the Shark app, because it's personal. What fair are you, Megan, looking forward to the most?
If you want the truth, whichever one is closest to me and has a fair amount of things to do.
What amount of things to do? What amount of things to do? Come on, say it.
What are you doing?
A fair amount of things to do.
Fair amount.
That's what you just said.
Amount. I'm
Congratulations,
tired.
Megan.
It's Monday. Leave me be.
I'm going to be Maury Povich. The results are in. Megan, you are the father.
I'm a loser. That's what I am.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Jason Tatum with the greatest comeback since I Know You Are, but what am I?
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
We've reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app, and Megan has questions.
So why is there a Massachusetts beach that's banning booze for the summer?
Because people abused it, Megan.
Okay, that's fair.
No, it was one of these places, and it ties back to another article on the Shark app. There's an article on the Shark app where there's 2 New Hampshire beaches that were named like best secret beaches. And all the comment, and that's what I said when I wrote the piece. So I was like, yeah, you know what they're not anymore? Secret beaches, because you just announced it to everybody. And I think that's what happened to this beach in Massachusetts, where it was like this nice little hideout. And then someone was like, hey, check out the little hideout. And dude, it got nuts. It put Hampton Beach to shame.
I was going to say, where are we at on the Hampton Beach scale here?
Not even. Like, Hampton Beach has people, Hampton Beach has
characters.
Well, they have people down there. They have police officers. They have state troopers that enforce the law. But this became too much for this beach. It was too much for their police department and too much for the state troopers to get down there every day to break up the fights, to break up all the other craziness. It's if you go check it out, it's a good cautionary tale about if you're like, gosh, what do we do to bring in tourists here? It's like, you sure? You sure you want all those tourists?
Are you sure about this? You heard him, beaches. Go on the Shark app to learn more. Sorry, I've been loading that one for a solid minute. I'm
you
really
hear that,
happy.
beaches?
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
A new study found that working from home can lead to excessive drinking. So just do like me and get so drunk at work you cannot make it home. Kate Middleton made a surprise appearance in the Eurovision Song Contest playing the piano. The weird part is she played The Bitch Is Back. AM radio is being removed from many cars. Well, if that's how it's going to be, I've got a lot to say to you, Rineman. For starters, that terrible haircut,
we're on FM radio,
only makes your face shine brighter.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
If you go on the Shark app, you can read all about the 25th anniversary of the Seinfeld finale, which, no spoilers, but it has a very big New England tie. So I asked you, what is your favorite TV finale and maybe your least favorite? Pamela and Rochester.
I'm right off the top. I'm going to have to say something like, I'm going old school here, like MASH or something like that.
Least favorite, Greg and Plymouth.
I have to say the Sopranos finale. I just got done watching that a couple days ago, and I thought my Xbox broke on me.
Tell me about it, Greg, because that Sopranos finale, we're all building up to something big. We're wondering what's going to happen. And then all of a sudden
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Sorry if I'm a little cranky, but I caught Rudy Giuliani skinny dipping in my bird bath. Due to the ongoing writers' strike, this year's Tony Awards will not be televised. This was devastating news to the Tony's viewers. Both of them. A new study finds that DNA can be contracted from others out of thin air. The study was conducted by going to Hampton Beach on a Saturday.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Classic hits for the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. It's Rineman in the Morning. And look who's a little bit early this hour, Megan. But you're upset about something. What's going on?
I'm here to vent about bad marketing on the part of everyone's favorite dating app, Bumble, because they just made me feel really bad about myself. So basically, I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. You match with someone.
Well, that's what you wrote on your profile. I'm Megan. I'm short and sweet. It's not working out?
I'm not that short.
Well.
Okay, well, like maybe to you because you're really tall.
Thank you.
Yeah.
that's my profile.
So, as you know, you match with someone on Bumble. Only women can reach out first. And when women reach out first, Bumble calls it a first move. And apparently, when I first got the app, I must have unknowingly signed up for this and didn't realize. But I think that you can pick some sort of charity or organization, and for every first move, Bumble will donate money to something.
Oh, really?
I think so, because I opened up my Bumble profile and I got a notification from the app basically being like, you've made this many first moves to support, I guess my charity was Women's Health. They're trying to be like, thank you for making a difference.
Yeah.
I looked at it as, it says, and I quote, you've made 314 first moves. So my thought was, you're telling me that I'm still single after reaching out to 314 men?
Also, your cause is Women's Health. It's Mental Health Month. May is Mental Health Month. Okay, not helpful.
But I was laughing because I'm just like, this isn't doing what you think it's doing. And it's funny because I sent a screenshot to one of my friends. I said, yo, check this out. I'm still struggling after 314 messages to 314 men. And my friend was like, I'm not going to lie. I thought your number would be higher.
Oh.
And I was like, oh.
Dangerous app.
Coughing today.
Keep it on the Shark app.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Martha Stewart will appear on the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition at 81, which makes sense as the youngest people to still buy magazines are 71. Southwest Airlines pilots voted to go on strike. Even worse, they did it by parachuting out of the plane mid-flight. In Colorado, a man was pulled over for drunk driving and switched seats with his pet dog, which backfired when his dog was high as a kite.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is going on?
Have you ever been on a whale watching tour?
Yes.
They're a lot of fun, but okay, well, I'm curious before I continue. How do you do with seasickness?
Fine. Yeah, I've never gotten seasick. What about you?
I'm typically fine, but it's always whale watches where there's someone on the boat who's not fine. In my experience,
yeah, that's a traumatic thing as a kid. So you do want to keep your kids. But tell me what's going on with whale watches on the Shark app.
So there's a place in Cape Cod that offers tours where you can look for sharks. We're spicing things up a little. We're spicing things up a bit. So there's a spotter up in a helicopter that looks for the sharks, and then he informs a boat captain who will take you to said sharks.
Are you serious? This sounds like...
No, I'm making this all up.
Okay, I'm sorry. But so let me get it straight. If you go into the Shark app, you can read about there's an operation down in the Cape.
Yes.
Where there's a boat on the ground, and then there's a man in the sky. You have a man in the air in a helicopter.
Yeah.
And they're using walkie-talkies, and then they help you... This isn't
sharks.
This is an episode of Barry we're talking about. What did the shark do that the CIA is involved in it all of a sudden?
What didn't the shark do? That's the
true.
Question.
Hey, what didn't the shark do? Do.
Baby
Dad joke
shark,
too. It's classic hits. We can't sing anymore. We'd have to pay a lot of money.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Ignore me. I was never here.
I cut you. We're fine. We're good.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Ryan Brazier cut by the Red Sox. He had more blown saves than a Windows computer.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Here's a blast from the past. In the early days of Rineman in the Morning, we were talking weird neighbors.
Patrick in Newmarket, tell me about your weird neighbor.
So we had a guy when I lived in Londonderry. He straight up, for no reason, would just set off fireworks.
Well, is that really that odd here in New Hampshire?
Yeah, but it'd be like a random Tuesday, and not like bottle rockets or something like that. He was setting off the ones that would, knock your pictures off your wall.
So he's like one of the guys in Mary Poppins, in other words, right? Going up and shooting those things off the roof. Jason from Kittery.
Did have a neighbor that walked his dog in the neighborhood, but he would just walk his dog in just his boxer shorts only.
Wait, let me clear this up first of all. The man was in the boxer shorts, right?
Yeah. The man was, but that's all he had was just in the boxer shorts and walk his dog every morning. And it didn't matter what time of year either.
Please tell me they both didn't use the fire hydrant. Donnie from Hampton, what drives you nuts about your neighbor?
Maybe all the political signs.
You know what I want to do? I want to go out there and put a sign that says Abraham Lincoln, just see if anyone notices. Joyce in Fremont, what did your neighbor do?
Put out my trash every weekend. That's weird, but nice, but weird.
What? How does that even happen? What, do they come to your house and break in and just clean up like Santa Claus, like a reverse Santa, and just bring it out? How do they do it?
He just came down the street and put out everybody's trash.
Monique in Farmington, the weirdest thing your neighbor did.
Going to my back door and peeking in the window.
That's crazy. What'd you do?
Well, they kind of were kneeling down. I kind of opened the door on their head. They didn't do it again after that.
When in doubt, just burst out of your house like Kramer. Some weird neighbors out there.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
In a new interview, Arnold Schwarzenegger says he is done playing the Terminator. You could tell the Terminator was getting old when he was working as a mall cop. New research shows that robots are now perfectly mimicking humans. But don't worry, that just means they spend all day looking at their phones. A new study found that a growing number of Americans are switching religions. I heard about it at church from Father Weinberg.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what's going on?
I am so happy that we're finally in the middle of springtime.
Yeah, you look real happy about it.
Okay, so for context, I went and saw Taylor Swift perform in Philadelphia recently.
Brag. Mm-hmm.
Humble brag. No, my friend was a survivor of the Ticketmaster fiasco, so here I am, and I'm currently dealing with travel fatigue on top of allergies, so I look like I've been having some lettuce, if you know what I mean.
If I could just describe it to people out there, we just had the 25th anniversary of the Seinfeld finale.
Okay.
In that last season, there's an episode where Elaine is in a steam room for some reason, or she's in a room where a steam pipe breaks, and then all her mascara and everything runs. And it's like you have those same sad eyes of someone that's just been through some stuff the last 24 hours with your allergies. And I feel it, sister, because I had it last week.
I'm wearing no makeup. I've got bags under my eyes. My eyes are bloodshot. I'm congested.
But at the same time,
my voice is kind of shot from the concert.
But at the same time, if you could see Megan right now, Megan who's 23, if you could see Megan and the difference between Megan, her allergies, and us with allergies, you'd say, oh boy, I got to put on a helmet next time. What I'm saying is you survive your allergies pretty well. But
yes,
what's
for the
happening
most part.
on the app? We're in the middle of spring.
So we're in the middle of spring, and that means there's some restaurants that people like to go to when the weather warms up, often because they have outdoor dining or outdoor seating, or maybe it's because they have some delicious seafood, which everyone gets in the mood for, especially during the summer months. So I decided to track down where some of these places are, where the locals love to flock.
Locals love to flock. To flock.
Like fly like birds. I'm so tired.
It's classic hits for the Seacoast. 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. Megan just passed out. Go check out all these restaurants people like to go to in the spring on the Shark app. Be right back. Need an ambulance?
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Celtics, Heat, team from Boston versus a team from Florida. What could go wrong?
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, you ready?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be, given how tired I am, Rineman.
You didn't say the funny thing you said before.
Ready, Freddy.
There you go. There's our button. Megan, what else is going up on the app? What's happening right now?
I am an absolute sucker for cheese. I love cheese with my whole heart. And there is a New England Cheese Festival that is coming back this year for its 12th season. And I am stunned that I haven't heard of this before.
A cheese festival?
Yeah, it's in Vermont, and you can enjoy cheese, wine, spirits, tastings and presentations, all the good things in life.
Wow. That does sound fun.
Would you go to the cheese festival?
Well, here's the question I have. At the cheese festival, if I make a reservation, is it binding? It's classic hits for the Seacoast. 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. Speaking of cheese, we'll be right back. Cheesy joke.
Funny. You're trying really hard.
Firing on all cylinders.
You're trying
today.
really hard to work with me, and I'm not giving you very much today.
I'm throwing you every alley-oop pass I can, and you're just letting it go out of bounds. We'll be right back, maybe, with more Rineman in the morning. My gosh.
I never was an athlete.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
ABC announced a new version of The Bachelor featuring senior citizens. In this version, the fantasy suite is stocked with crossword puzzles and Sanka. Yes, there's a senior citizen version of The Bachelor, marking the first time they'll have to pixelate the topless women and men. That's right, there's a new Bachelor featuring the elderly. If a date goes poorly, they'll leave in a limo. But if it goes well, they'll leave in a hearse.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the morning.
I asked you, if you ever saw a concert at the old Boston Garden? Johnny C. from Exeter, who'd you see?
1976 Aerosmith, Get Your Wings.
You saw Aerosmith at the old Boston Garden?
Yeah.
What was it like? Do you remember what they opened with?
It was a zoo. Dream on.
That was it. Oh, my gosh. That's amazing.
I used to work at Mo Black's in Waltham. Every Saturday, I'd hear Aerosmith playing music. They were practicing right next door.
Oh, my gosh. What's the craziest thing you saw at the Aerosmith concert?
A couple dudes in a dress.
Yeah, that was Aerosmith.
And now, here's sports in 10 seconds with the Sportsman.
Celtics, Heat, 8:30 start. Good day to nap in a chair at Brookstone.
That's your sports in 10 seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the morning.
You know, last week I had New Hampshire's own Chris Sheridan, he's a Guilford native, on the program to kind of explain what's going on with this TV writer strike. It's up on the Shark app if you want to listen to the full interview. For a long time, Chris was a writer and producer, the showrunner actually, on Family Guy with Seth MacFarlane, right? He was like in on the ground floor on that show. And I asked him, were there any memorable guest stars that came in to lend their voice to the show? And he had an interesting answer, and it's someone we all know and love here in New England. Take a listen.
There was a lot of people. I mean, I wasn't there for this, but I know Gronk.
Yeah.
When Gronk was there.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Famously wrecked the bathroom next to the writer's room right after the table read, but before the writers went in. And the writers went in and was like, what the hell happened in here? And someone called him out on it, and he was like, and he just laughed. He was like, yeah, he doesn't give a damn about it, right?
Well, sounds like Gronk went for two. But if you want to read all about Chris Sheridan and his new show, Resident Alien, and just a guy that started out here in New Hampshire, up in Guilford, out in the woods and up in the lake, and he made it big in Hollywood, and he's doing big things. It's a fun article. Go check that out on the Shark app.
And now, here's sports in 10 seconds with the Sportsman.
Lakers give up 70 points in the first half to the Nuggets. That's LeBron's worst performance since Space Jam 2.
That's your sports in 10 seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the morning.
We've reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app, and Megan has questions.
We were talking earlier about the Taylor Swift concert, which I was fortunate enough to attend in Philadelphia.
God.
But it's coming to Gillette next,
Yes.
which is very
Yes.
exciting. I know some people who are going. But
Maybe they're going, depending on how they're getting there.
yeah, there's some issues with the T that could impact people's ability to see the Queen herself in her element.
They say, you got to go to the Shark app. There was a truck pulled it sturrowed itself. You know what that means when you go under an overpass that maybe it's not tall enough for you to go under? And this truck did it at a town between Boston and Foxborough, and it was right on the Foxborough line.
Nice.
And they had to shut it down.
Wow.
And it took minutes.
The Boston T having issues? I'm stunned.
Took a mere minutes for people to go, wait a minute, this is Taylor Swift weekend. So go to the Shark app, check out the latest. Supposedly it's going to be okay, but it's like, I don't know. When has the MBTA ever let us down before with any of these reports?
They better get that fixed. I'd be very sad.
Can you imagine if that happened, though? Just after the whole ticket fiasco and just
Uber
everything.
drivers would be making bank.
They would. Oh, my gosh. How much do you... I'm not a big Uber guy anymore, but how much do you think they could jack up those prices if it was 8 times
Judging
normal?
by the amount of money people are willing to pay for resale tickets,
crazy.
Thousands of dollars, I think that if you're an Uber driver in that vicinity, you better be on the clock that night. You'd be making good bank.
Yeah. Wicked Ubers.
Wicked Ubers.
Go check it out on the Shark app. Check out the commuter rail. See if it's running if you're going to the Taylor Swift concert.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry were involved in a high-speed car chase, but don't worry, the photographers they were chasing got away. In Miami, a man stripped naked at a gym, used several machines, and attacked several other gym goers. And they still wouldn't let him out of his gym membership. A new study found that half of U.S. pet owners say their pet is their soulmate, while 100% of cats would swipe left.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what's going on?
So one of our coworkers compiled a list of some of the top items people buy when, as I like to say, they've had a lot of adult juice, adult beverages.
You've never said that before. Big
kid juice is what I say.
Big kid juice is what you said.
Big kid juice is what I say.
The big kid juice?
It's top items people buy when shopping under the influence.
Oh. I got it.
So when things suddenly start to seem like a much better idea.
So I'll come out and say it. When you get hammered and go online.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I was confused about what this is. So this is what New Englanders buy when they've had too much? Oh, this is a good one. Yeah. I can't wait to see this. Is that like, do they just go to llbean.com and go nuts, basically?
I wouldn't even be surprised. But I feel like if it were me, weirdly enough, I think that I would gravitate towards like home decor and books. Because when it comes to decorating, that's like what I think about. Because I live in a very small space.
You're like 80 Stephen King books. And it's all The Shining.
When did I order this?
Yeah, why did I? Well, I guess I'll pass them out at Christmas time.
I can safely say, though, I've never been in a situation where I've ordered something and it's shown up. And I've been like, when did I order this?
Can I tell you a quick story?
I love
what I
it.
did? So not a drinker, but I used to have a sleep disorder. And I would get up and sometimes do things in my sleep. So one time I got up and it was at work and I got this receipt from Apple. And it was for 6 songs. And there were 6 Billy Idol songs. And I look at them and they're like his top 6 songs. So I call Apple. I say, hey, there's some mistake. Someone, I guess, hacked my account and got the best of Billy Idol, whatever. And they went, no. So I go home. This is the early days before the cloud. And I check my computer. Lo and behold, 6 Billy Idol songs I ordered in my sleep. So
maybe you like Billy Idol.
I do now. But if you're going to order anyone in your sleep, it would be Billy Idol. He's that kind of guy.
That is
incredible. In your brain.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
People watching the Celtics on YouTube missed the entire fourth quarter. Big deal, the Celtics missed the entire second half.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is going on?
I know you and I have had a conversation before about towns in Massachusetts that we struggle pronouncing.
Yes.
But there are some New Hampshire towns that out-of-staters struggle pronouncing as well. And if you can't pronounce some of these town names, you just might not be from New Hampshire. You might not be a real Granite Stater, dare I say.
Are you doing your Jeff Foxworthy impression right now?
No.
Are you doing...
No, this is just me talking.
If you can't pronounce Winnipesaukee, you might not be from New Hampshire. That's a terrible act, Megan. That's what you're going to tour with? My goodness.
You know, all I want to do is tell you about cool things going on the Shark app, and then you accuse me of things that I'm not even aware I'm doing. How did we get here?
Let me see if I can figure out some of the towns, like Ossipee. That's probably one of them, right?
Probably. I'm not telling you.
I don't know. I can't think of any hard-to-pronounce New Hampshire towns.
Well, maybe it's because you're from New Hampshire.
I think it's confusing that Kingston and Kensington are so close together. I think
that does seem weird.
Someone just made a mistake on the sign, and they said, oh, different town. Do you know why Northampton and Hampton split up?
Actually, no, I've never thought of that.
Because the people in Northampton were tired of going to church all the way in Hampton.
Is that actually true?
It's true. When I was in 3rd grade, we had to sing a song about it. It was the 250th anniversary of Northampton. And it was all about how we hated the tyranny of Hampton. For real.
I'm speechless.
It caused a rivalry. For real, for years playing baseball, we're like, we gotta kill Hampton.
We gotta beat those guys.
They made us go to church there.
Gross. Destroy them.
I love you both, Northampton and Hampton.
No, he doesn't.
I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
You don't.
It's classic hits for the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. We'll be right back with more Rineman in the Morning, where I love you both.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
First Lady Jill Biden was spotted taking a SoulCycle class, while President Biden did 10 laps around the White House on his tricycle. Mike Pence will visit New Hampshire as rumors swirl that he will run for president. Do you think Donald Trump will ask him to hang? A man was indicted for stealing the ruby slippers Judy Garland wore in The Wizard of Oz. Or as he'll tell his cellmate, I robbed a bank.
And that's your news on the 9s. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
I'm very excited to welcome a very talented performer to the show. She's in town from tomorrow night, the 19th, all the way through Monday, the 29th in Salem, New Hampshire. Please welcome from the Flip Circus to Rineman in the Morning, Alexa Vasquez. Alexa, how's it going?
Really good. Thank you for having me.
Tell me about the Flip Circus.
What makes Flip Circus very unique is that it's a very small tent from the outside, but when you walk in, it's something very incredible happens because it's a very gigantic tent on the inside. You get to see the audience, gets to see the stage so up close to the artist. It's something very, very interesting that happens because you're very up close to the stage and you get to experience a show very, very differently than other shows. And we also have a live orchestra, which makes the atmosphere very, very involving.
This sounds unbelievable. So it's like an intimate circus, and you have your own orchestra there playing all the music.
Yes. And the show is especially for the whole family. A lot of people, when they hear circus, they're like, oh, it's only for the kids. No, Flip Circus is for the whole family. We have artists from different parts of the world, artists from Italy, artists from Spain, Colombia, Mexico. So you're going to really enjoy it. Everything is really spectacular, like artists, like I said, from different parts of the world, but they make so extreme performances that the kids, the adults, and even the grandparents are going to enjoy.
That's great. Now tell me, what do you do in the circus?
Oh, you're going to have to come and see the show so that you can see what I do. Basically, I'm always up in the air, so you'll catch me up in the air.
I'm taking part in this circus. I'm going to be, I think, doing something with you guys. You're not going to do anything crazy to me, right? Like, I'm not going to get shot out of it.
Oh, that's a surprise you will get to see.
Just tell me this right now. Are there going to be clowns? Are there clowns at the circus?
Of course they are. But our clowns, some people I know are scared of clowns, but our clowns are very unique. They're not dressed up like all traditional clowns are. These clowns are more like on the comedy side. So you're going to enjoy Steve and Ronnie. They come directly from Italy. They've been performing for over 20 years all over the United States, all over Europe. So you've seen them probably in other shows, but this time they do something completely different here in Flip. And the audience, the kids, like I say, they enjoy it. Steve, who's also a clown, he walks around the stage. He's a part of the audience and a part of the performance. So you're going to enjoy him. It's
the Flip Circus. It's coming to Salem, New Hampshire, and it's going to be next week. And I'll be there on Friday night. They're going to do something with me. I'm a little bit nervous, and I will try to embrace the clowns. Thank you so much.
You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
For more information, go to flipcircus.com. They kick things off tomorrow night, and I'll be there a week from tomorrow night, Friday the 26th.
Now on Rineman in the Morning, it's What's Up on the Shark app with Megan, the Shark's own app and website guru.
We've reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app, and Megan has questions.
What is it you want to talk about again?
You just blew our whole act, Megan. All along.
Can we record this? Can we redo this?
No. This is live on the radio, Megan. All along, people thought that this was like a real, genuine thing.
You said there was something you wanted to talk about.
No, I say that every time. And then you look up what it is, and you say, oh, I found this interesting. And you pretend like you read it.
Excuse me?
It's this woman that thinks there's a football team in New England called the Boston Bobcats. Unbelievable.
The Boston Bobcats.
Yeah.
I mean, why haven't I heard of these guys? Are they good? What division are they?
Good question. Thanks for asking, Megan. Good yes and there. No, it was this viral video that the Tennessee Titans took, and they showed a bunch of people logos for NFL teams, and they showed one, and she said it was the Boston Bobcats. You never know. We could use another football team this year.
What if I told you I'd seen one of their games?
I'd say where? At the Conjuring House?
Probably.
But no, we're the official radio station of the New England Patriots. Fall for no imitators. There is no Boston Bobcats. But I thought about it, though, and in case you're looking to have some fun and prank a friend, Megan, because we know you like to do that, I came up with a few other names for New England sports teams, for fake New England sports teams. Would you like to hear them, Megan?
I would love to hear them, John Rineman.
Oh, very good.
Oh, boy.
Okay, well, first of all, you got the Maine Abiders of Speed Limits. That's not real. The Wellesley Manual Laborers. I don't think that's a real team. The Revere Beach Peace. Then you got the Hampton Beach Quiet. That's not a real team.
That's non-existent.
Yeah, the Vermont Young Conservatives. You got the Vermont Old Conservatives. The South Boston Designated Drivers. And, of course, the Devil Monkeys of Danville. They're back.
Let it go.
Nope, it's classic hits for the Seacoast.
Dead.
1021, 1053 The Shark. We'll be right back with more Rineman in the Morning.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
If Jason Tatum travels one more time, we should call him Carmen Sandiego.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan and I were talking about when I bought a bunch of Billy Idol songs in my sleep. In the meantime, I asked you, is there anything you bought that you didn't even remember buying? Patricia in Plymouth.
A pizza.
Oh, pizza. Well, hey, you could always make use of a pizza, though. That's not so bad. Chad in Hampton, you ever spend money on anything and you wish you could take it back?
Probably gambled too much money.
Well, hey, you could break even now because gambling's legal. So you can go ahead and get that back. Just don't bet on the Boston Bobcats.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Wendy's will begin using robots to bring food to customers' cars, while Arby's will just tape a piece of jerky to a Roomba. Bluebell Ice Cream and Dr. Pepper have created a special ice cream float, but in order to buy one, you must prove that you just got dumped. Ringo Starr called Dave Grohl one of his all-time favorite drummers, while Dave Grohl called Ringo one of his all-time favorite Ringos.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Hey, we were talking about this. Go to the Shark app, okay? Go check this out. There are 3 bears on the loose. They were last seen in Exeter, and I don't know where they are now. We're not yet sure if they have a vehicle, but we know the bears are making their way around the seacoast. So we're talking bear safety. Here's a couple tips. Identify yourself by talking calmly to the bears. So just flashing your driver's license, that will not work. Pick up small children. It helps if the children are yours. That could get you in a whole nother problem. So the worst thing you can do if you want that bear to leave you alone is go up and bother her cubs. Don't do anything to the cubs. She'll be very defensive about it. However, a really good way to get the mama bear to leave you alone, ask her to watch your kids.
Now on Rineman in the Morning, it's What's Up on the Shark app with Megan, the Shark's own app and website guru.
Megan, what's going on this fine Friday?
So it's pretty safe to assume that everyone loves free, right?
No. I mean, no, it depends on what it is. Like, what if it's like free garbage dumped in my living room? I don't want that.
I don't want garbage in my living room either.
Well, see, I just changed your mind.
I'm looking at things from a more positive note.
Well, it's
so there's a gorgeous cliff walk that's the highest rated free activity in Maine, and it's not too far away from us here in New Hampshire.
So it's a free cliff walk in Maine.
Yes.
Where are there cliff walks where you have to pay money?
You tell me.
No, because you introduced this topic.
I don't live in Maine. I don't know.
But why would you come and be like, do you like free things? Sure. Well, guess what? I found a place where there's free rain.
There was
when
a
it
site
rains.
that said it was the highest rated free activity in Maine. And hint, hint, it's in Agunquit.
Oh, well, then okay, fine. But like you sold it to me as a free cliff walk. And then I was like, you have to pay for cliff walks now?
Over in Ireland, I'm sure you do. They have like all the scenic cliffs there.
What?
Cliffs of Moher, things like that.
Yeah,
I don't
but
think
in
you can just
Ireland,
go to that for free.
You don't have to give them money, though. You just give them potatoes.
You wanted me to give you an example of a cliff walk where you have to pay money, and I gave you an example of a
You
cliff
didn't.
walk.
You just made it up. You don't know that for sure.
I'm Irish. I do know.
I'm Irish and I'm German. Do you know what I do?
Yikes.
Yeah, I know. I leave without saying goodbye, and then I enter the party when I'm not invited. It's classic hits for the Seacoast. 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. Megan likes history.
I do. That was impressive. I appreciate
We'll
that.
be right back with more Rineman in the Morning.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Pat Riley looks like Dracula's grandpa.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is going on?
You and I have both spent a lot of time living in New Hampshire, but I'm going to test your knowledge on some of New Hampshire's state symbols.
Oh, no.
Okay, so the state animal, is it A, a moose, B, a bobcat, or C, a white-tailed deer?
White-tailed deer.
That's actually correct. I'm impressed.
Yep.
I'm going to hit you with one more.
Well, I knew the moose was probably Maine, and it can't be the Bobcats because we just had a fake football team called the Bobcats.
That's true. So process of elimination. I'm going to hit you with one more.
Okay.
The state bird. A black-capped chickadee, a purple finch, or an American robin.
Purple finch.
How did you know that?
Because I went to school in New Hampshire. I know all the things.
I went to school in New Hampshire. I didn't know that. I would have probably guessed the chickadee.
Nope. Purple finch, baby.
I love chickadees. They're so cute.
I watched Fritz Weatherby on New Hampshire Chronicle. Do you know Fritz Weatherby? Do you ever watch him?
I ever watched him.
Oh, he's amazing.
No, I've heard of him. He has a legacy.
No. That's like my bucket list guest. I'm going to try to get Fritz to come on Rineman in the morning.
You should.
He's has my dream job. Except I wouldn't talk about useful New Hampshire things. I would talk about silly New Hampshire things.
Of course.
Like the guy that dressed up as a tree to rob a bank. I'd be like,
it
was on this date in 2007.
That's
man
a very
in Manchester
Grant State thing, I feel
walked in.
Well, either way, you can head on right over to the Shark app and test your knowledge on New Hampshire state symbols. Maybe you're going to be just as good as Rineman, or maybe you'll be like me and not know a thing.
I will say this. I was in my 20s until someone pointed out to me, and I then realized that if you look at the signs on the highway, that's the old man in the mountain.
You were in your 20s once?
It's classic hits for the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. I'll be right back with more Rineman in the morning.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Taylor Swift is playing in concert in Foxborough tonight, bringing record traffic to the area. So if you want to get there on time, leave last month. The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile will now be known as the Frankmobile. The Frankmobile? That sounds like a divorced uncle's convertible. Montana passed a law banning people from using TikTok. That's crazy. There are people in Montana?
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the morning.
We got bears on the loose in Exeter, New Hampshire, and I asked you, have you ever encountered a bear? Roman from Newton, New Hampshire, you tell me your story.
Okay, the first time I ever saw a bear was at my grandma's house, and so me and my dad were driving to her house, and she lives in Connecticut, and when we got there, she wasn't home because she was at a friend's house, and we went inside. I looked out the back window, and there was a huge, fat bear sitting against a tree, and there were 3 cubs climbing on its back.
Oh, my gosh. So what did you do? Did the bears take off when they saw you, or did you go out and hang out with them for a bit?
My dad's friend came over, and he had to leaf blow the lawn, and so he got really close to the bears, and I was like, you better stay away from them.
Or at least ask the bears to help out. My gosh, if you're not going to pay rent, do some yard work.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
A 6-hour hockey game? Maybe the NHL needs a pitch clock.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the morning.
We've reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app and Megan has questions.
So tell me more about Conan O'Brien's return to TV.
Well, he's coming back, but not till the writer's strike is over.
Okay.
But he has a new show on, I think it's just Max. It was HBO Max, and then they got rid of HBO.
It's HBO.
Yeah, it's the artist formerly known as HBO Max, but it's just Max. No, Conan is coming back, and this is a show that for 2 years people have been waiting for. But stuff happened, pandemics and things, and it's not a normal talk show. I won't tell you what it is, but if you go check it out on the Shark app, it's something Conan does very well, and it looks like it's going to be very funny, but it's very different. It's a new kind of Conan show.
Interesting, something we've never seen before.
It involves travel and surprises.
That sounds fun. I like both of those things.
Yeah, it's a very fun show, and it's good to see him coming back. I like that they're coming back and doing that. Because, some listeners of a certain age may remember of Johnny Carson when he quit The Tonight Show. He was gone. We never saw him again. And but I like that Jay did Jay Leno's Garage, and Letterman has his show on Netflix. He's all over YouTube, too. He's hilarious there. So now Conan's coming back doing his thing. Megan, let me ask you, you're Gen Z.
Okay.
Who do you think should host a late night show?
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler, the Sandman. That's his next thing?
I think it'd be so funny.
He's going to host a late night show?
Sure.
And his dog will be the sidekick?
Why not?
I'd love that.
He could interview the guy who robbed a bank dressed as a tree.
Yeah, I'd love that. Hey, buddy, let me ask you, what were you thinking?
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Any roller rink's a roller derby if you're drunk enough.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the morning.
We're dealing with a bear problem. There's 3 bears loose in Exeter. Sean in Hampton, what are you going to do if you run into these bears?
Give him a big hug. Give him a bear hug.
Just make sure they're comfortable, Sean. You never know. They could be fist bump bears. Rick from Berwick, you ever see a bear?
Yeah, I've seen a couple.
And what did you do when you saw them?
Went the other way.
I think that's sound advice.
I'm Charlie Butters, and it's time for your Friday Flix. Out this weekend is Fast and the Furious 10. I'm not sure if it stars The Rock or Vin Diesel, but either way, it's someone who looks like Mr. Clean. Also in theaters is Book Club: The Next Chapter, featuring Diane Keaton, Jane Fonda, Candice Bergen, and Mary Steenburgen. And your husband repeatedly checking his watch and hoping an asteroid strikes the theater. Out on Hulu is a reboot of the 90s basketball movie White Men Can't Jump, to which the Celtics responded, "Can they make free throws?" I'm Charlie Butters. And remember to keep an eye on the screen and a hand in the popcorn. The Sharkathon's just minutes away on Rineman in the Morning.
I'm so tired.